Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom
Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. This is Rebellion's Bloom, our Star Wars umbrella show here at the Penny Bloom Pod, and I am Colton Robertson. Today, I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you, and welcome back, Kyler Barnett. What's up, buddy?
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Today, we've got The Bad Batch, Season 2, Episode 4, titled Faster. And just wanna point out that I was half right in my prediction about what the meaning of this title was. I took a guess that maybe the Batch gets into some pod racing last week. And racing, not quite. Not quite pod racing.
As close as we can goddamn get, though. You know?
Yeah.
I think it was just because of that. They didn't want to do pod racing because then it would just be the same thing. But they were like, let's give them what they want, but add guns.
Right.
I gotta be honest. I think I advocate that pod racing in the originals should be more riot racing than what this was, because I don't care what you say. When you throw them Tusken Raiders screaming and shooting at me when I'm driving, that is the closest thing to a riot I can imagine in my entire existence. So,
nah, bro, that's what was kind of crazy. As I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, like, I still don't know if this is as brutal as the pod race we see in the Phantom Menace, because they are like, they're slamming into each other and causing crashes, not just shooting at each other.
But when someone died in the pod race, it was more of like but in this case, it's like, yeah, you know.
Well,
like,
this is a cartoon, though. This is a cartoon, though, and this is for children. So you gotta you gotta make that death seem a little less like, whatever. That's
they literally have guns, though. Like, I mean, it is okay to kill. Even someone in the crowd died, bro. They were like,
that was wild. That I will say that I thought was a little out of pocket, but I did enjoy it thoroughly. I did think that was a bit much, but nah, bro. Come on now. You mean to tell me that you are rolling through? What do they call it in Phantom Menace?
Beggars Canyon?
Yes, Beggars Canyon. Yes, that's right. Dog, you can't tell me you're pulling up on that and you're and you aren't just immediately shitting your pants.
You're right.
I am
Lego level.
I am more
shit my pants in the Lego level. Yeah, I shit my pants in the Lego level.
Facts. Let's talk about the trauma anyway. Yeah, bro, that shit. I think this was more laid back, but that's just my opinion. I thought.
No, yeah, there's a different intensity to live action versus animation. The fact that these are a lot of droids. We have like a couple sentient creatures who are feeling in this. So, like, there's. It was like nothing but sentient creatures in the pod racing. So there was something that was like a little bit different about it. But I loved me some riot racing, man. This was a great fucking idea. And I love episodes like this that are just these one-off fun, just focused adventures. I like that we're getting stories where some of the batch is not involved in. I hope we get more of this, just like being like Hunter and Echo are off transporting some shit. It's not exactly an ideal use of our skill set. Well, yeah, but you need money, so they're going to go ahead and do it. I loved that shit. I was like, fuck yeah, give me Tech Wrecker and Omega the whole fucking time. I'm in.
I like that you touched on that too. Oh, sorry, Joe.
No, go ahead.
I like how you touched on that, because I thought that there was parts, like, not only are they separating from the rest of the batch, but I think that you could see the separation from kind of the norm of what they're doing, where like they're always relying on their There's even a line, that's what I was going to say, the line where they talk about like our military tactic is not going to be of aid in this mission or whatever. Tech said to Wrecker. And I think that just goes to show more of, like I said, like that's separating from what they've done. And that makes a really fun episode to watch, in my opinion. Like you said, Colton, like this was just 20 minutes of fun. Like, I mean, you want to talk about going back and feeling like a kid watching cartoons? That's been the closest. Like, I'm still enjoying this as like a Star Wars show sometimes. Like, I guess maybe that's worded wrong or sounds stupid, but like, sometimes I am watching it like so vested in the story and like and kind of the deeper things. And then this is an episode where you can just feel like a kid and be like, oh, that was tight. Like, yo, I laughed my ass off when that dude got shot in the stands. Like, that's not ordinarily funny, but I mean, hey, in the scope of a cartoon, that is hilarious.
That was nuts. I mean, even the fact that they got on the intercom and were like, we're not responsible for any injury.
Oh, dude, don't even get there.
Like the second thing.
Don't even get there, because that was going to be my favorite line for this episode.
So
I had already thought it out.
No, yeah, that's a great fucking choice for a favorite line.
The left tunnel. Sorry, the left tunnel. Is that dude just dead? Like, what was down there? You know, the guy that didn't make it, like the tunnel that Tech took, and like, it's impossible. The track's missing. They didn't show like what happened to that dude that fell.
He fell to his death.
Did he just like hell? Like, is it just endless void pit until the center of the planet?
What did he say?
Like, literally
something.
It just said there's part of the track missing there. That's why no one takes it. It's too risky. No one can make the jump. In no way did they say what was down there. So when that guy like fell down, I'm like expecting like, a cut to like him exploding or like him hitting, falling down.
Fell into an endless void.
Whoop, just fall. That was it. And Tech
I have been falling for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Reminds me of that episode of Rebels where that droid like flies off into space. He gets like evacuated into space and he's like, finally, this is the serenity I've been looking for. And then like a ship pulls up to save him and he's like, no. Like he's like, I wanted to float off into space forever. Oh, that's a great one. But, man, there's not a lot to talk about here. What I did really enjoy is that there are a couple really subtle character moments and some not so subtle. Yes. Omega being like, I'm gonna put our asses on the line to save Sid. I care about Sid. I'm gonna save Sid, and I loved that. That was a big moment for me. One of my favorite, the more subtle one, is that at the beginning when they take this mission, Tech is over it. He looks disappointed that they have to go off on missions. He is like, hey man, I just want to sit here and play with my toys and just live my life. I'm tired of this shit, man. It's not, and maybe it's not that, but that's the look he gave, whenever they were like, come on, Goggles, like we're fueling up the transport. We're getting ready to go. And he just like sits there and like,
Yeah, because Wrecker leaves, and he's like, sounds
like a deal. Yeah.
Omega's like, oh, this could be fun, and then Crosshair sits there, or not Crosshair, Tech is, and he like sighs, and that like I thought he was gonna stay. I didn't even think he was going. Like when the camera cut, because it cut in a way where you like, is he just gonna stay there? And then I'm like, oh no, he's with him, which was cool.
I like that you brought that up, Koro, because I think the end moment. At the end of the race there, that moment for Tech where my boy gets his flowers. That it makes that hit different when you think about the beginning of it.
Did you guys think about it a little bit? I didn't cry, but like I got like a little like, man, finally my boy Tech is in the spotlight. I was like, man, let's go. I was just really happy.
And I think what I like about it so much is that like he. It was something that he didn't know anything about. He says multiple times, like, I know nothing about it. And then, like, goes out and really does that. And, like, you got to imagine how that feels for him because he's so used to, like, missions and all this stuff. The robot, Teo, was even telling him the whole time, like, your analytics or whatever he said are of no help in this, and then comedically gets hit by a car, But, like, I just thought that moment feels so like, you just know that like that little nod he gives is so humble, but like you can just see it that, hey, my boy was really like feeling like
he was like,
I think my
he felt like Toby,
pretty,
man. They love me.
I didn't think there was any other line. He got out of that pod and just said, like, they were like, I can't believe you won. And he went, did you expect anything different? And I was like, oh my God. Dude just came out and like, and that's the thing is that like everything that Tech has been experiencing, it's like for the first time. He's experiencing the concept of before the war for the first time. He's experiencing missions without fights, like for the first time. But the thing is that they're not fighting, but every single one of their abilities was used to like the ultimate potential. Wrecker was used as the big muscle so that they just wouldn't absolutely get trampled. Like Wrecker was actually used as Wrecker should be used, I guess, in this episode. And then you had Tech just absolutely go off and pop off as Tech does, his smart shit. But then Omega's, her intuition or whatever we want to call Omega, just kind of the mosh pit of them all. She's the one who, finds the way for them not to just get screwed out of it, find them have a fighting chance and actually a way out of it. So I don't know. I think like even though they didn't fight, it was a beautiful like mission that used all their abilities.
I think Wrecker played an underlying super important part in this episode. For one, you could sum it up in one line that I think it's when they're playing. What's the game? I forget every time. What's the game you play? Like the little chess looking one with the animals.
Hollow chess.
Okay,
that's right.
So when they're playing that, and then Wrecker's like, "No, it can't. Look, one more game, double or nothing." Literally verbatim, that's basically what Omega says. So like, you can see that they all are like literally like she's taking after them in such like obvious ways. Like, but the emotion behind hers is so that's what gives it such a different kind of levity or weight in that moment. Is like knowing that like Colton said earlier about how she wants to like I care about Sid. I won't. I like she helps us. I'm not gonna let her go out like that. I think that comes into play. Like that's where her intentions are, and then she says something literally directly from Wrecker. Like that's just kind of like the things that I think like really just gives it a little bit more depth and weight, I guess. Which like I said, in a cartoon, man, like it's the things like that do stick out. Like once you get to this age, like that's the stuff that kind of like I mean, it's right there. It's obvious. Like I said, it's basically the same exact line, but. Like Colton said, you can clearly see like the emotion and intention behind it and like what she's learning and things like that.
No, for sure. I loved Omega in this episode. As much as I wanted to go with Tech for my favorite character, I ended up going Omega just because it was because of her that any of it happened at all.
That's fair.
I was just like, it was her idea. She didn't have to put them on the line like that. And her compassion is overwhelming. I love Omega. The fact that she's willing to do that for Sid is really, really sweet. And like Kyler said, yeah, she's managing to learn from all of them, regardless of what their strengths are. And I think she's just a fantastic character. There was a point in this episode where like obviously they were foreshadowing Tech being the one who raced and stuff, and they wouldn't have let Omega race. But I was at a point in the episode, I was like, ooh. Will Omega be the one who races this pod? Like that could be really cool. And I was glad she wasn't. I was like, that might be going a little far with it. But I
definitely thought that's where it was headed. But
I'm glad they brought back the Techio drift.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna go like just super hard, like just being super inspired by the Phantom Menace and having like a young Anakin, and then young Omega. Like I thought they were really gonna go there. But I think having just Omega being on the sidelines and being the excited spectator or like the worried spectator even like did way more. Like I feel like I would have just been scared if Omega would like I knew she wouldn't have died in this race, but like I still would have just been like, oh my God, like no, you should not be in there. Like, oh my God.
Well, then it's just like the ultimate plot armor too. Like she might not win, but she's also not gonna crash and die. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's no stakes. Yeah,
there's no stakes. I mean, like, at that point.
I won't say that like you thought they're gonna kill Tech, but I mean, like, it is becoming prevalent. I think Colton touched on it in one of the first recording or something. Like, we're gonna lose somebody at some point, probably. Like, that has to happen.
And it probably won't happen.
Hopefully not soon.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't feel like that's the vibe, but I guess like it's not taking you out of watching that race. I guess with Tech, whereas like Omega, you're like, all right, like I mean, I guess I don't know what I'm trying to
But
say.
like,
You
there's
know that like
stakes,
they're gonna
like getting
win.
Sid back is stakes, but like
Yeah, it's true.
when it comes to Tech, there's this other layer where it's like he does like this is not the sort of thing he does. He's
Yeah, it's
having
entirely out of his comfort zone and strength.
yeah, and Omega, she just goes and does shit all the fucking time. Tech usually just does things he knows how to do. Omega's like, fuck it, yeah, I'll do that shit. But
Tech just like he owned the episode, and I was trying to find any slot of my favorites where he didn't make it. And like I'm just like, I don't know, I can't really come up with anything. I just love this season so much just for how much Tech has been shining. Like this is just he's my dude. And oh my god, when Kyler already mentioned it, whenever Teo, the first droid that drove, got smashed and killed for the final time. It was whenever Tech was like, well, I don't know, your strategy's a little off, man. Maybe you want to deflect a little more energy to your rear deflector shields, man. And he sounded like a complete nerd, but, making sense. And then,
no, for sure.
No, offense is the best D. And then he died,
That was my line.
Man, God, I did it again. Fuck.
You did it to both of us. Oh, there it is. There it is.
But the reason that, that little, your strategy's off, my scene is from that whenever he, actually drops his weapons off. Like, his pit stop is him just going up in there and just being like, I don't need these anymore. Fuck it. I'm not.
Well, and it's also really emblematic of what we've been talking about the Bad Batch the whole time. They stun. They don't kill. He didn't use his weapons the entire time anyway. He was like, I straight up don't need this shit. I can just roll by myself.
That dude was zooming too after that.
That man was moving. That's an interesting one. Favorite scene. That's one I forgot about and haven't been considering.
Scene's hard. Scene is
well,
hard.
because it's like one giant fucking scene.
I know, it's like the whole race. Or you can do the more actual what happened in the episode. Like it was basically race and then Sid's story. Because really the only thing that happened in this episode was there's something in Sid's past that we don't know about that now the batch is going to be a little more maybe, hey, Sid, what's this about? What is this about? So
no, and that was that's what I was thinking would end up being my favorite scene is that last one where big ol' brute guy is like, your loyalty is admirable and I fuck with y'all. That was super cool of you, but it might be misplaced. Like you need to look out a little bit. All right. And, we knew that at the beginning of season 1, that Sid was like a shady figure who we were hesitant to trust and everything. But over the course of season 1, you come to trust her completely, specifically because of her relationship to Omega. But then lingering this out there once again, it reignites a little bit of a oh, well, there's got to be a reason you're telling me this, and that's it was the most intriguing part of the episode as far as what they can do with the story going forward. So that's kind of where I was inclined to go. She was loose-lipped with Wanda Sykes in the first couple episodes, talking about how these are the rogue clones, and they're like, oh, you're just telling fucking anybody now, huh? There's concerns arising, and I think that was a really compelling part of the episode. So I think I'd probably have to go with that as my favorite scene. Also, I just loved that giant brute being like, you know what? I'm pretty honor bound. So, you know what? Deal.
Yeah. No, you fucked with them. I don't know, that he hasn't popped up anywhere. Or maybe it's just the voice that was familiar.
Voice, species, it was all kind of
Man. What's the guy that worked at the no, that's definitely not him, because I know I can picture the guy that's in all the makeup. I thought it was the species of the guy that grabbed Rey. It was the only thing that came to mind for some reason. That grabs Rey's arm, that the shop owner, the really dick dude. That was the only thing that's coming to mind, but I don't think that's not the same thing.
Not the same species. I think this guy was the same species. You played Jedi Fallen Order, right?
Yeah.
As the 9th sister.
Oh, that's okay. That's probably where it is then. Because man, something was familiar, and I'm like, I don't think it's the voice. I don't think it's the character, but it's just what he looks like looks familiar, and I think that's that. I think you might have cracked it there.
Me think so.
Okay.
Oh yeah, but Kyler, what about you? You got a favorite scene?
I think my favorite scene is probably man, I really like. I think it's got to be that scene. It's really simple for me. It's really just that end scene where Tech kind of like nods off at the crowd. You know, he gives him the little. It's
Yeah.
so humble and like it's a moment that like he doesn't really show that it like hits him, but you just know based on his arc and like who he is like as a character that like it does, and that's just his way of like he's not the guy that's gonna be like yeah like getting them all more riled up. He just wants to
I
like
did that.
yeah no he's just
Who do you
like
think
and
you
then
are? I am.
yeah, you can tell he's taking it in, not like making it about him. He's just taking in that, like, wow, I really just came in and my strength is like already having the ability to tell like what the best move is. And I'm literally having to do it like at the snap, like on the spot reactionary, which is totally out of the ordinary for him. And like that shit just hit hard for me. That's got to be my favorite team. But I have two tidbits of information that I'm sure, I don't know, Colton probably already caught it, so it's probably not like crazy, but it blew my mind when I found out who these people are. Did you already look at it? Because I've been wondering.
Are you talking
both
Teo?
of them, both him and what is it, Maligi Criff or what I forget how to pronounce it.
Oh,
I'm horrible about that. What is it?
the
Maligi?
other racer
Just
person?
Maligi?
Like
No.
alien thing or the
No, the guy
so
that was trying
Teo,
to take Sid.
Yeah, Greenie.
The guy
and
that
then
was,
the big brute guy.
yeah, Maligi
Oh,
or
okay,
whatever.
okay.
Both of those characters are voiced by people that like that's so incredible. Colton, you'll love Maligi. He's voiced by Ernie Hudson,
Oh no shit.
like Ghostbusters, like
Yeah,
Ernie
Ghostbusters
Hudson,
Ernie Hudson.
and like. Oh man, that's awesome! When I caught that, but no, Teo is voiced by Ben Schwartz. Which if you
Yeah,
watch
Ben
Parks
Schwartz
and
is the
Rec,
shit. I
yeah,
recognized
dude,
his voice as soon as I heard it.
dude, it's so random that I thought it was someone else. This is super obscure, but the person who voices Lilo and Stitch, the little yellow like one-eyed character,
Oh
I
yeah.
thought for sure that is who it was because that like kind of
Okay, I thought
dopey
you were about to
sounding
say
like
that's who
whatever,
it was.
like kind of high pitched. I thought that was for sure who it was, and then I
No,
looked it up and I'm like,
I heard it
it's
and
John
I went,
Ralphio. What?
yeah, it's John Ralphio from Parks and Rec.
Dude,
And of the improv troupe Middleditch and Schwartz and Sonic the Hedgehog and
yeah, Sonic, and I caught something else too. He was a voice consultant for, of all things, BB-8,
Yeah,
which is
he also
random.
wrote
That's
he
pretty
also
sick.
wrote almost every single C-3PO joke in The Rise of Skywalker,
Oh,
which is his funniest movie. So that's like he was my favorite performance. Ben Schwartz as Teo. That was an easy one for me. I absolutely loved it. As soon as I heard his voice, I was like, I know Ben Schwartz when I hear it, buddy. I did not catch Ernie Hudson though, and I didn't even find that. So that's baller though. I love that.
dude,
Yeah,
that was
Teo was another annoying ass droid. I love an annoying ass droid. And he was funny as fuck. Had my favorite line in the episode. I loved that shit. And yeah, I had to go Teo, voiced by Ben Schwartz, as my fave. What about you, Kyler? You got a favorite performance?
that was who I was gonna go with too. I had already liked it so much, and I had in my head that I think that sounds just like that character, and that character always made me laugh so hard because I used to love the Lilo and Stitch TV show too, so it just always made me laugh. Fun fact: freshman year of college, when I'd get drunk, I would always turn on the Lilo and Stitch cartoon TV show on Disney Plus just to so I wasn't turning something on that I would have to go rewind back to watch. Just something I could if I missed it, whatever. But I'd be sitting there drunk, just happy as hell watching that.
Right.
But yes, Teo just had so many funny lines for me, and the arrogance and cockiness was just so contrary to Tech. So it was just funny, the kind of opposition he posed to Tech was just a very funny kind of dynamic in
Tech
the show.
versus a droid,
Yeah, and just the way his lines were just hilarious. There's one little part where he's like, "Who's gonna win? hey yo, and like walks away, or as he's walking away, just like says his own name. I'm like, dude, this dude just really thinks he's like.
He thinks he's
Man.
that guy. He's that
He
guy.
really
Joe,
thought
I
he
know you
was.
got to go here soon, so how about you throw me your last
You-
favorites, and we
you
can.
know, I did say that I thought Tech dominated this episode on every category, but I cannot. There's no way it's not Ben Schwartz for this episode, like for the performance. There's no way.
No.
Like now that I think about it, like he was actually funny. Like the lines were perfect. It was a perfect character introduction, like just for one episode he's in there and now he's dead. I don't like did they keep his head at all, or is he just gone? Because he was like, I
It's probably
regret
gone,
nothing,
but since he
was like
voiced
his
a
last
droid,
line
he's
or something. But yeah, I don't know.
he's
I thought he was awesome. So I'll give him the performance because he
Love
does
it.
deserve it, because it probably won't get him again. But Tech will remain my character for still balling out and remaining humble, but still getting the shit done. I think
Yup.
I will still stick with Tech dropping his weapons off, just because it's kind of like a hype moment in the race, and it's right before he like goes in the left tunnel, and the whole like philosophy behind it is just really badass. So I think I actually will stick with that.
Good choice.
But then and then my line still with whenever he comes out, just did you expect anything different? I guess he wasn't so humble. He was humble to everyone, but to his immediate circle that knows him, he's like, all right, I still got to let them know that I'm still that guy, a little bit. But oh yeah,
I loved it, man. I think that clears the board for our favorites. Unless Kyler, I think you need to declare a line and character.
because I think I stole your line, but I didn't remember which one it was. I stole the thunder.
The line?
I did it. Yeah, I think I did it again. In
Which
the beginning of the episode, I said it, and you're like, "Yeah, that was my line," or something like that.
No, I don't. I thought maybe I don't know. I was talking about the PA announcer or whatever after the character got shot. I just thought the whole like line of like, and then he kept going with like more like basically fine print type stuff. That was just funny because like. I mean, that's just, you can't make it up. That's really what, it's, I mean, like, you go anywhere like that now in real life. I mean, not like riot racing, but I mean, same premise.
Like
it's pretty funny.
Telling you to, your valuables Worlds of Fun is not responsible for your lost or stolen items. And enjoy the rest of your
hold
stay
on to your fucking
Worlds
shit.
Of Fun.
Be responsible.
Yeah, like, go on a roller coaster that is about to drop and go 80 miles an hour straight down. Just hold on to everything, though. If it gets stolen, it's on you. Sorry about it.
You came here. You know you can die. Like that sort of thing. You cannot be held responsible for any injury or loss of life.
I think my favorite character is... Yeah, I mean, I gotta go with Tech. Like I said, he did it for me. And like, dude, the dropping the weapons off is like, looking back at it, that's such a hard moment. Like, I bet you all the fans are sitting there watching like, yo, this man is really, like, if he pulls this off, I bet you there were people in the crowd like, yo, I will give you 100-1 odds that motherfucker doesn't win.
That's that Lightning McQueen skipping out on the pit stop type shit.
Dude, it's like the audacity, bro. And it's just like, that's the type of, hey, he had that whole crowd polarized for the rest of that race. And then my man hops in the left tunnel and they're like, yo, dude, this dude is really out here. Like,
yeah, he's screwed. They're like,
he said, all right. He said, scratch it. 100-1, 600-1. Don't care. Give me that shit. He's doing this somehow. I don't know what he's doing, but he's got balls and he's winning.
No, it's not when he drops the weapons off. It's whenever he does the little swoop. And then he hooks he uses their own tricks against him. Ooh, which one's better? Is it whenever he drops the weapons off, or whenever he uses their own like stuff against him and like makes him crash, and then he comes out to win?
That shit was hard as well. Ooh. That shit was hard.
I gotta stick with my guns though, literally here, I guess. Drop
literally.
No, I'll stick with it. I won't make a last minute change like that.
Nah, I fuck with it though. That's we got a good slate of favorites. It was another fun episode, coming off of last week that was a little bit more intense. It was nice to get a little bit of a respite. And I really, really enjoyed it. Last week we commented on the fact that the next episode was titled Faster. Next week's is titled Entombed, which sounds like we're getting intense again. Entombed.
Palp? Is it that crazy? Like, is Palpatine that... Like, who else is entombed? Who else is like a is that like mummy? Am I like wrong in thinking like entombed as in like
entombed? You know, trapped.
Oh, okay.
Trapped
Could just be
below
like
ground.
Okay, fair. Okay, fair.
I mean, Palpatine is in this season at some point. That's known. But I expect that to come more in the clone conspiracy, truth and consequences type shit.
Yeah. I get. Oh no, this is. God damn it. See, and that's the thing. My timeline's all fucked up. Palpatine is still.
He's fine.
He's kicking it. He's actually prime right now. He's like
he's
leading the entire galaxy right now.
He has unlimited power. Cool. What do you know?
I don't know where I'm thinking right now. I don't know where my head's at. Okay.
I thought you were speaking more metaphorically entombed, like he's on Coruscant and I'm
in Mandalorian mindset. I'm the trailer, and I'm like thinking of all the I'm in that time right now. But man.
No, yeah, it was another goodie. Any last thoughts here? No,
I'm chilling.
We're chilling. Well, we're gonna say goodbye to Joe.
Actually, I take it back. I have one thing to say. Crosshair is the fucking GOAT, because I didn't get to talk about it last episode.
Yeah, Kyler, I got all the time in the fucking world, buddy. Now that Joe's gone, we can go forever. I don't give a fuck.
Also, for the record, Craig, I don't like the way you're looking at me, bro.
Craig's fucking nuts.
Anyway, it's Crosshair, dude. Just hearing that voice, like, talk about one of the. I mean, you can't even say one of. Like, that is probably the starkest difference from like D. Bradley Baker as a clone, or really any of the Bad Batch outside. Wrecker's kind of unfair because he's the most different looking out of all of them too. So it only makes sense and it's fair that his voice sounds like what it does.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that like he can emote a lot more with Crosshair than he can Wrecker. Wrecker is like very constant. Yeah, Crosshair.
Yeah, I mean, he sounds the same just about any emotion, but dude, the coldness to Crosshair's voice is just. Ooh,
you think you could remember your favorites from last week? I could go ahead and punch those in for you in our good old spreadsheet.
I'm going performance. It was like off the rip. Like as soon as I heard Crosshair start talking, he's in his bag. Like it was straight up like, nah, this guy don't miss. Nah, he's good. No, he doesn't fucking miss. Crosshair just sounded good. Gotta be facing was when he, I think it was the reunite of Crosshair and Commander Cody, like that scene where Commander Cody's like, I specifically requested you. I think in that moment, like that's probably the closest Crosshair's felt to having kind of that bond that he had with the Bad Batch again. Is like seeing a fresh, like a familiar face, and and
there's that part at the end of the episode where he goes to Rampart and is like, "What happened to Commander Cody?" And he's like, "Who?" Like he's not completely detached from being a clone. Like he's like,
right.
I love my brothers. They're my brothers. They have names. Don't reduce them to a fucking number on me right now. Okay.
Right. Yeah, dude. I that just hit because I don't know. Like I said, like Crosshair, you could just tell by that first kind of like episode when you see him again, like he's not fitting in at all. And so, like, I mean, dude, I don't care what happened. Like, I'm sympathizing with that, of course, naturally. Like. Dude, it's just that was bad. Like, I know he's still like he went into that meeting and is basically like, give me some bad shit to do. I want to do some bad shit. Like,
I'm trying to do crime, Rampart.
Yeah, but dude, like you can clearly tell, like it does hurt that he's like basically all on his own, like nobody else to really like vibe with. So I think like reuniting with him, that just gives him another like. I don't know. You can just see they're peeling back the layers, man. Like end of the season, the way it ended, he cops for the Bad Batch. Obviously, like you can still see that there's that pull, that like that loyalty to something, not the like establishment. I guess essentially, you know what I mean? Like it does get to it does pull at him, that was just nice. I mean, like I said, that's the first time we've seen Crosshair, so it was good to see him like go through some things, like good, like invest in that arc a lot. That was good. Favorite character? Gosh, man.
I can tell you me and Joe's as well. Character, Joe went with Crosshair. I went with Tawny Ames, the governor of that planet. I liked her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I went with D. Bradley Baker as Commander Cody, and so did Joe. Favorite scene, I went with Cody and Tawny's conversation at the end there, where he's like, "We don't need to do this through bloodshed, like we can figure this out." And then obviously that doesn't go anywhere. And for line, I went, "Peace is an option now" by Commander Cody. Whenever she was like, "Peace was never an option."
Yeah. I think character-wise for me, I'm going with man, I'm gonna roll with Crosshair. Like I said, I hadn't seen him in so long, and just like seeing him like that, and just going through it, like kind of having it. But dude, some of the moments he had, like them parts where he's popping shots at the tank, puts it right down Main Street,
puts it right down the fucking throat.
My man don't miss. Okay, he be using the stupidity of the droid. He knows how stupid they are. He is predicting. He was standing still and let them rain down like 5-6 shots. He's like, nope, if I can't hit him, I know they ain't hitting me. So like, I'm gonna wait till they get it right. This motherfucker was staring it down. Don't care. That is hard. That is
man
hard.
Was a badass.
And then he talks with that like snake ass, like cold, just guttural, just. That's a hard one to get, man. I don't even want to try it. Like I've never practiced, so I know if I just try to raw dog off the rip, just spit this out, it's gonna sound terrible.
What's happened to Commander Cody? Like
it's pretty good, dude. He sounds like he's basically like almost kind of Severus Snape, but like with a little more ice to the voice, like instead of that monotone, like
higher.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he sounds like a reptile. If you imagined a reptile to talk to you, he sounds like a reptile. Yeah, no, for real. But it's fire. I like that. And then what's the one I'm missing? I'm gonna be honest. I need to look at the lines because I watched.
Yeah, that one's tough. That's a tough. Like I didn't even know coming into this episode what my favorite line was. I kind of just raw dogged it and went with "Offense is the best defense" by Teo getting ran over.
Yeah, well, hey, I wasn't. You could have fooled me. I thought you had that shit wrote down last week. Somehow you got Disney sends us the scripts. We all know this, so
I'm built different.
I just thought, nah, dude. I like that episode so much. I mean, and like you said, the whole arc that was like some intense stuff going on. I mean, the story stuff there is actually like, I mean, that's pretty. That felt very Clone Wars to me, like that whole arc and everything, like and just the way that it panned out. That was just fun. I like that. Who was the voice of
there was something about the animation last week that I talked about that I can see bleeding through even more this week. The animation this week was fucking brilliant. I still don't think it touched what last week was. Like last week was fucking absurd on the animation.
Yeah, no, side. that scene where there was just so much different opportunity for last episode. Like they changed from night and day and like did so much stuff with that. Like the nighttime sequences look so good. And dude, like something simple that I really caught was that scene I was talking about where Crosshair is aiming down sight at the tank and stuff. Dude, all that like grass and like all that stuff waving behind and just all the scenery around looks fantastic. Dude, and the clones and that armor just looks so good. Like for me, it was different because I watched Clone Wars kind of like consecutively, kind of from beginning to end after all the new stuff was already out. So like, I don't really know what it was like to make such a drastic jump in like animation because like there was a blatant obvious, but like, dude, the way like you can see like that last season of Clone Wars, the way like everything looked, dude, it's still even from then has taken a jump, and like that is just insane because the Clone Wars stuff from that new season looks so good.
Well, that's what. Yeah, I think it's an upgrade. And I think what's made it an upgrade, and what I'd suggest looking for a little bit is that I'm certain they're folding in design elements from Rebels. Like there are so many things, specifically last week, but it bled through a little bit this week in the action that look like Rebels, and characters look like they're a blend of Rebels and Clone Wars characters.
Sid seems very Rebel-esque to me, kind of, but like she's been around. But
you just don't get a lot of rounded characters, you know, like you get a lot of rigid, sharp lines in Clone Wars, and we're still getting tons of that, obviously. But like even the way Tech looked this week, there's something different about the way they're animating that, and it looks good.
And here's what I'll say: I like that. I feel like we're getting a lot of close-up animation, like with the face or the helmet area, and with the Bad Batch, that's so different. Like it all looks uniform. So like doing a stormtrooper or clone or whatever is totally different from the Bad Batch. Have different paint, different things on each of their helmets or their body, like their and all that. And so I do notice that, like in this past episode, like some of these close-up shots of Tech and stuff, the detail. And even that scene that I said was my favorite, where he kind of gives the little nod off to the crowd at the end. Like that shot, like, I mean, the detail in his face and just everything, the way that looks is just, it's different, man. Like, gosh, I mean, it's crazy to think about because we talk about watching this show like a Saturday morning cartoon, like when you were a kid, kind of. And it's so crazy because, God, imagine waking up on Saturday morning when you were 6 and seeing this type of animation and just how lost that probably is on you at the time, but B, just being like, wow, that is some pretty color. Like,
dude,
damn.
The colors this week were fucking amazing.
Oh, dude, but there was one shot, the scene where they just kind of show the track for the first time, and that whole like overlay with the, you know, with the lap sign, like what lap they're on, and like all the detail in the track and stuff. Man, that stuff just was different. They are doing some different stuff for sure with like depth and framing that I think is just, I don't feel like when I've seen other animated stuff, it quite does that. Like the scenes where the wall pops up in the middle and they'll like alternate with a close shot, like of the wall coming up all of a sudden. And then immediately you're switched to behind the wall and them coming at you and like swerving around. Like just the kind of pacing and framing and like, you know, angle stuff they do is just so unique. And, gosh, I can't get over. I'm still, even now, just talking about the animation. That first episode with all that water playing at the ocean and stuff, and just how insane they've done with the foliage and like surrounding areas. Like I said, I talked about that in the second episode too, with kind of the sprawling valleys and forests. Like they have done some things that are just, it's different, man. Like when typically with animation, you would think a bigger, larger frame for shooting or a scene is like working against you because, you know, you have a focus of that shot, but you've got so much surrounding area. Like most of the time, that stuff people and animators or the companies don't have to spend the money to make look the part or look good. You know, it's like, well, why would we go so wide if our characters are down there? You know, like, because I want to do something that looks good. And like, it's cool that basically it doesn't feel like they're cutting a corner, cutting an expense. Like it feels like they're sparing no expense. I mean, you know, that's not the case. This isn't a show that commands such a big portion of budget, but like you could never tell me that like they don't look like they're doing the part. Like,
no, for sure.
It looks fantastic.
It's brilliant looking show, man. It looks so fucking good. And I've just loved this season so far. It's you know, we're already a quarter of the way through. Still got 75% of it left.
Seriously, and they've started strong, dude. Those first 2 episodes and even the I guess first 3, I mean, those are hard-hitting story pieces for the most part. Like, you got a lot out of that. Some intense moments and stuff. So, it was kind of cool to have something that took a little backseat from all of that this episode. And it kind of just tells you the kind of pace they're working at. Like, you look ahead to the name where we talked about Entombed, like, that sounds pretty damn intense. Like, something's happening, dude. Like, you know, something. Like,
it looks so someone's getting fucking buried, you know?
Yeah, I mean, so to me, like, I just think that's a kind of cool that, like, if that's the pace we're working with, where it's like, hey, you're going to get 3 pretty fast-paced, intense, like, story-moving episodes, and then you'll get one that kind of slows the pace and it's fun to watch. And shit, man, if you're telling me that, like, that's great with me. I can sit down that 1 week apart and let it all kind of sit and ruminate. It also, I think, gives time to kind of like let the story kind of stay, I don't know, like prevalent or fresh in like my mind. Like today, like we were talking about this episode and it's mostly stuff that didn't move the story along a ton. But then like slowly but surely we've started going back and talking about things from the first episode, second and third episode. And like, I still am thinking about all of those things now more so than I was like just before this new episode came out. So it's kind of different. When you get that filler episode, you're like, oh man, I forgot. We didn't even see Hunter and
Echo.
Echo. Yeah, I mean, like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, it's like, holy shit. And so that's kind of, they were going to get nuggets.
Yeah, Nerf nuggets.
Always protect the McNuggets. I don't know.
Always.
Know.
No, it was a fucking goodie. I really, really enjoyed it. But I don't have many other thoughts on it. The season's been solid so far. Let me ask you, did you catch that Mandalorian Season 3 trailer?
Dude, I need to watch, like, fully watch it, because I kind of, like, I wasn't, I was so pissed. I was on the way home from work, and the game was on Monday night, and I was like, oh, I know they're playing the commercial. Hopefully, like, I get home and it hasn't played or something. I was literally like 3 minutes away from home, and on the radio, I was listening to the game on the radio or whatever, and they were talking about, and if you're just watching at home, or if you're listening at home and have the TV on as well, the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer is playing right now, so make sure you take a look at that. And I was like, fuck! And then one of my friends mentioned it, and I thought he was going to put it on, and then I think we got distracted, and then I kind of just forgot to watch it. So I've not really watched it.
No, it looks...
I saw something on Twitter. It looked like they were showing a scene of the hallway stuff again. I think you might have liked it, where people were like, kind of talking about how, like, if you're really complaining that we're getting another Order 66 scene, like, how could you say that you don't want to see it when literally the biggest part of our main character, or one of our main characters' stories right now, is arguably the trauma and, like, what has happened since that moment.
It's the fact that people are so focused on the fact that the idea of Order 66, coming back to it, is fan servicey, which it is, but it is quintessential to our characters as we know them, and it perfectly parallels both Din and Grogu. Like, I just don't understand how you can just completely ignore the story purposes for something.
Yeah, and dumb it down or simplify it to something. Yeah. Did you like it? I don't know if it was you. I have a tendency to assume that it's you. Sometimes I've noticed that it's something that's like you might also like, and then other times I'm like, oh damn, I thought for sure he would have been the one to like that. But most of the time,
that one was.
All right, bet.
Yeah, you got that right. You got that right, pal. No, but yeah, it looks so good. We're returning to Coruscant at some point. It looks like.
Okay. I've seen, like, I must have watched part of it or something, and then, like, got sidetracked. I don't know what was going on, so I must have seen part of it, because I do remember seeing that part where they're, like, kind of coming in and you can just see it all, and you're like, wow.
We got Paul Seung Lee coming back as Carson Teva, which I'm excited about. Love that guy. Yeah, it looks good. I love the way they.
There's what's the character? Gosh, I'm so bad with the names. You're so good at remembering them. The lady that is on, I guess Tatooine. Is she on Tatooine that repaired the ships and stuff?
Oh yeah, Pelimoto.
Yes, Pelimoto. Yeah, I saw. She's like, "May the Force be with you." Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've seen some of it. Be interesting to see. She loves her Grogu time, so you know that's who she's talking to. She don't give a fuck about She doesn't give a fuck about Din. She can say she does. She does a little, but she just wants that baby. So you better bring that damn baby.
You better. Where's your fucking friend, homie?
Yeah.
Nah, but what I'm hoping is, me empty-handed. I'm hoping Cobb Vanth is back, because I love me some Cobb Vanth.
Dude, yes. Random thing. So I was just talking about him the other day. The guy who I was talking to about this, said that I look like Timothy Olyphant, and I just don't see it at all. I mean, I'm never gonna say no to being told I look like a very
like that's a massive compliment, man.
But I mean, I don't really know.
I can see it. I can see it in, like, facial structure, like general facial shape and such. I can see it. Yeah. I wouldn't say
it's a kind of a damn
like
question. It's kind of a damn question anyway, because, like, once you say it, people are just, like, trying to, like, look at you in the light of him, and then it's like, oh, well, I can convince myself. So, like, it's kind of a bad question to ask. I just need to, like, walk around and hold up a picture and be like, what do you think?
I get the vibe. I think it's your eyes and your mouth. I can see it. I think what you need is that touch of gray thing he's got going on.
That's true. I'll head to beauty brands ASAP. We'll get it figured out. I'll be like that guy in Iron Man 3. I'll be like the guy in Iron Man 3. I kind of like modeled my whole look after you, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, right. Adam fucking Pauly. Speaking of the Mandalorian, he actually he was one of the stormtroopers who punches Grogu in.
Oh, what the fuck, bro? No fucking shot.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's the one who punches Grogu. I think,
but he's one of the
Jason Sudeikis. Jason Sudeikis is the one who punches Grogu.
No, dude, it's so. Dude, yeah, it's so funny that you talk about those specific stormtroopers because that just came up on like my TikTok or Twitter or something like an hour before I came on to record. So that's so funny because I just saw that and I had forgot that he punched Grogu and I was like, dude, every time I see that, my blood just fucking boils. Like, didn't I tell you to shut up already? I'm like, dog, let me add him. Like, okay, but point being, if I do look like Timothy Olyphant, and if I was Timothy Olyphant, I'll tell you one fucking thing for sure: I would not be ditching or not calling back Jenna Fisher. I'm telling you that right now. I'd be calling her ass ASAP.
For real.
No cap. She, it's not even The Office that does it so much. I really think that Jenna Fisher in Blades of Glory. When I was a child, like. Dog, I don't know if anybody's ever really done it like that.
This is funny because I remember seeing that in theaters. I saw that in theaters. I was like 7.
Dude, I know. I remember like when I watched, I vividly remember seeing things. I'm like you got to make sure nobody's coming down while you're watching it. Well, at least me, that was how it was because I was like,
no, yeah,
like I was at my grandma's. I'm like, if she comes down here, I am done for.
That's like the second movie I watched where I experienced like arousal, I think, was Blades of Glory.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was early. It was an early one. I was like, yo, I don't know what I'm feeling, but this woman in this lingerie is super fine, you know?
Dog, and there's just no way around it, too, because, like, at that age, you can't really understand what she's trying to do, but you just know that you're liking it. Like, you're like, I don't really know
she puts Will Ferrell's hand on her breast, and I was like, wait.
You're like, yo, that shit gotta be something right there. Like,
I get it.
Yeah, it did it. It did it. It's like, it's the same thing as Linda Cardellini, bro, and Scooby-Doo 2. I'm sorry, but that shit was... Okay, to be fair, it was long before Scooby-Doo 2 for me. Scooby-Doo 1, she was still like that. She was still like for me. And so, like I said, that is like, if you give me any fuck, marry, kill situation, she is my Mary. Don't matter. I will argue with you to the end of the world that she is my all-time Mary. Like, it is her and the Mary, and then you can sort the other two in whatever way you need. I don't care.
Nah, Linda Cardellini, that's strong. That's strong. Yeah, okay. That makes me think it was like top 3 Jenna Fisher and Blades of Glory. Because it was that, Velma and Monsters Unleashed, Scooby-Doo 2, and Famke Johnson as Jean Grey in X-Men: The Last Stand. Because it was the part where she was like, either her or Wolverine was like laying on the table and he like woke up or she woke up or something, and then she started getting like real sexy with him, and he was like, yo, okay. And I remember being like,
dude, you know, if you got Wolverine on his heels, that like that shit is killer. Like, you know, that shit is just going
She's
nuts.
Different.
If you got Wolverine, like whoa, you got him feeling some type of thing, then I don't. She would take my lunch money, man. That's all you can say about that.
No, the most recent time I felt arousal watching something was Tech in episode 4.
Hey, I don't know what it is about Sid, but them scales.
I don't know.
Doing something
Yo, Sid's got it going on, bro.
That she leaves a lot to be desired with that outfit. I like that. I like that. Okay. All right.
It's fucking terrible. No, but with that, I don't know. I don't have much else to say.
Yeah, we've kind of gone off the rails here. It has gone in a lot of different directions. But
no, you know, if you stuck around, you know, I fuck with you. So shout out to you for sticking around through that. But Yeah, I was trying to stall until Joe came back, but fuck it. He can miss that. With that, we'll conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom podcast, and we'll be back next week for Rebellion's Bloom, where we'll be discussing The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 5. Very excited for that. We've also got our comic book movie journey through film going on right now, and this Friday, I believe, brings us to Superman 2, starring Christopher Reeve, which is another goodie, another fun one. Very, very good discussion there between me and Joseph. And we're still doing Winter is Blooming, our Game of Thrones rewatch podcast on Mondays, which is very fun. We were debating whether or not to put it on pause for The Last of Us, which fucks irrevocably hard. An incredible show, and we're definitely going to be doing something to cover The Last of Us. We think it's probably going to be like a halftime heat check when we're halfway through the season, and then an episode at the end of the season to kind of just rein it in.
I need it. There's a way to still get that game, right? Like I could probably go get that on like PlayStation Marketplace or something.
Almost certainly, yeah.
Because I need to play it. Because like I don't want to watch the show not having played the game. Because like I've already seen stuff on Twitter talking about like, it's like I just need to do the game and then go to the show. And just,
see, that's my thing. Is that like I muted all the shit on Twitter after I watched the first episode because I have seen spoilers. I know I've seen spoilers, but I'm the type of motherfucker who if I don't already know the characters and you tell me something like that, I'm gonna just let it go right over my head in one ear, out the other.
Because you want to do it yourself. You want to.
Yeah, exactly. No, so like I know motherfuckers die, you know, and I know generally who, but I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know why. You know, I'm down for that, and frankly, the way I want to experience it is show into video game because I love me some video games, but I'm just not as big on video games as I am television. So if they can execute it well, television wise, that's how I would like to experience it first.
That's true. That's true. And I mean, plus it's Pedro Pascal.
It's Pedro Pascal, baby.
Who wouldn't want their first interpretation of this person character to be Pedro Pascal? I mean,
that's my second most recent arousal watching something on TV.
Pedro
Pascal
totally
on The Last of Us premiere.
Totally understand. That dude,
but,
he got the smolder. I mean, like, you want to talk about that man should play Finn, whatever, from Tangled, because that smolder would be lethal. He would kill somebody with that.
No, there's a shot in The Last of Us premiere where he like pulls out a gun and he's like standing, and oh my god, it's just Din Djarin out there. It's just Din Djarin out there. He's literally in the same pose. He's got like his leg kicked out, a little bent over here. I'm like, there's I could find the side by side. I will send it to you this second.
There's just no way they're letting him thaw out like that. He is just letting it out.
No, that man is the slutty daddy. Here, it's in the group chat with us and Joe. It is the same pose. They're the same picture. Find the difference. Another picture.
It's the same picture. Yeah, no, it's the same picture.
No, man, love that show. Very, very good.
He's got the pop. He's got the pop down for sure.
He does. That man's a bad bitch. But with that, we will actually conclude. So yeah, all that's coming soon. Listen for all that.
So if you haven't forgotten all of this information, please make sure.
Oh yeah, you were listening. You heard it. If you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content. I'm about to get reading on this week's comics and upload the last 2 weeks' poll list here in a little bit. I'm very excited to do that. If you would, head to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you are listening. And if you've got any thoughts about anything we're covering, Game of Thrones, The Bad Batch, The Mandalorian Season 3 trailer, comic book movies, hit us up. Hit us up. Let us know. We'll I'll read your shit on the show. I know I've never made that offer before, but I'll gladly do it. Hit us up on Twitter. Our DMs are open. Fucking email us if you want to go to the effort to find out how to do that. I'm not going to give it out here because it's probably not that secure. But There's layers there. I was Colton Robertson. We were joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, buddy. It was a pleasure to be here. Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And we were also joined by the man on the screen below me that I can see and you cannot. KBZ, Kyler Barnett. Thank you very much, homie.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And with that, remember, peace, love, and bloom. And the best offense is a good